I don't owe you satisfaction. Those 5 words came out of Emma's mouth like they'd been rehearsed, practiced in front of a mirror, maybe while I was at the office grinding through another 12-hour day. She stood there in our kitchen, arms crossed, wearing that expression I'd come to know too well, the one that said she'd already won an argument I didn't even know we were having. I set down my coffee mug. Slowly. The ceramic made a soft click against the granite countertop we'd picked out together 3 years ago, back when together still meant something. Interesting, I said, keeping my voice level. I guess I don't owe you commitment then. Her eyes flickered, just for a second. Then that mask slid back into place. That's not the same thing, David. Isn't it? I watched her process that. Watched the gears turn behind those green eyes I used to love staring into. Now they just looked cold, calculating. You're being childish, she said finally. No, I'm being logical. I picked up my briefcase. You establish the rules, Emma. I just follow them. I left for work. Didn't slam the door. Didn't raise my voice. Didn't give her the satisfaction of knowing she'd gotten under my skin. But she had. The drive to my office took 43 minutes. I counted every single one of them. Counted the ways I'd bent myself into shapes I didn't recognize anymore. The promotion I'd turned down because it would mean relocating, and she'd said her career was finally taking off. The weekends I'd spent fixing up the apartment while she went to networking events. The anniversary I'd planned for 6 months that she'd forgotten about entirely. I pulled into my parking spot and sat there, engine running, AC blowing cold air into my face. When had I become this person, this doormat version of myself? My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Don't forget we have dinner with the Hendersons tonight. Be home by 6. No, please. No, love you. Just instructions. I deleted the text and headed inside. Work was a blur. I'm an architect, the kind that designs office buildings nobody remembers but everybody uses. Functional, efficient, forgettable. Kind of like I'd become in my own marriage. My assistant, Janet, brought me coffee around 2. You look terrible, she said, setting the cup down on my drafting table. Thanks, Janet. Really needed that today. I'm serious, David. You've been looking rough for months now. Everything okay at home? I should have lied. Should have given her the standard everything's fine response. But something in me cracked. My wife told me this morning she doesn't owe me satisfaction. Janet's eyebrows shot up. She said what? You heard me. That's... She paused, searching for the right word. Cold. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? I stared at the blueprint in front of me. A corporate headquarters for some tech startup with too much money and not enough sense. All glass and sharp angles. I have no idea. But that was a lie, because somewhere in the back of my mind, a plan was already forming. Small, barely there, but growing. I got home at 5:47 p.m., early for once. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Emma? I called out. No answer. I found her in the bedroom, fresh out of the shower, wrapped in a towel. Her hair was wet, dripping onto the hardwood floor we'd refinished together. Another together project that felt like a lifetime ago. You're early, she said, not pleased, just stating a fact. Wanted to make sure we weren't late for dinner. I need 20 minutes. Take your time. I walked back to the living room, and that's when I saw it. Her purse, sitting on the couch. The zipper slightly open. I'm not a snooper, never have been. I've always believed in trust, in giving people the benefit of the doubt. But something pulled me toward that purse. Some instinct I couldn't name. Inside, beneath her wallet and makeup bag, I found it. A second phone. Not her iPhone with the rose gold case she was always glued to. This was a cheap Android, a burner, the kind people buy when they don't want to be traced. My hands went cold. I powered it on. No password, no lock screen, just a simple home screen with 3 apps, messaging, phone, and camera. The messages loaded slowly. My internet connection was garbage in this part of the apartment, something Emma had complained about 100 times but never bothered to fix. Then they appeared. Message after message, photos, times, dates, hotel names. My vision tunneled. "David? Are you ready?" Her voice came from the bedroom. I shoved the phone back into her purse, zipped it closed, positioned it exactly how I'd found it. "Yeah," I called back. My voice sounded normal, steady, amazing what the human body can do on autopilot. Just grabbing my wallet. Dinner with the Hendersons was torture. Real, genuine torture. Not the physical kind. The psychological kind that eats at you from the inside while you smile and nod and pretend everything is normal. Greg Henderson talked about his boat. His new boat. His third boat, actually, because apparently 2 boats weren't enough for a man who worked in pharmaceutical sales. His wife, Patricia, complained about their contractor. Their second contractor because the first one had been completely incompetent. And Emma sat next to me, laughing at all the right moments, touching my arm occasionally like we were still a team, like she hadn't been carrying a burner phone full of evidence. "How are you two doing?" Patricia asked, her wine glass hovering near her lips. "You've been so quiet, David." "Just tired," I said. "Big project at work." "David's always working on something big," Emma said, squeezing my hand. "He's so dedicated." The word tasted like poison in my mouth. We left around 10. The ride home was silent. Emma scrolled through her phone, her real phone, while I drove. "Greg is exhausting," she said finally. "Yeah. But Patricia mentioned a job opening at her company. I might apply." "Good for you." She glanced over at me. "You're being weird." "Just tired." "You're always tired lately." I pulled into our parking lot, found a space, and turned off the engine. "Emma, can I ask you something?" "What?" "Do you love me?" She blinked. Once, twice. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one." "Of course I love you. Don't be ridiculous." "Then why do you treat me like an obligation?" Her jaw tightened. "I don't. You do. Everything about us feels like a chore to you, like I'm something you have to manage, not someone you want to be with." "David, I'm not doing this right now. It's late. I'm exhausted." "You're always exhausted. Because I'm always working. Because someone has to pay for this lifestyle." "I pay for most of it, Emma. My salary covers the rent, the car, the insurance." "Your salary," she interrupted, "covers the basics. I pay for everything else. The furniture, the vacations, the nice dinners." "The burner phone?" Silence. The car felt smaller suddenly. Tighter. Like the walls were closing in. "What did you just say?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "You heard me. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Not now. Not about this." She stared at me. Really stared. Like she was seeing me for the first time in years. "You went through my purse." "Yes. You had no right. And you had no right to cheat on me." The words exploded out, louder than I intended, angrier than I wanted to sound. Emma's face went pale, then red, then something else entirely, something I couldn't read. "Get out of the car," she said quietly. "Emma, get out of the car." We rode the elevator to our floor in silence. She walked 3 steps ahead of me, her heels clicking against the tile like a countdown clock. Inside the apartment, she went straight to the bedroom and locked the door. I stood in the living room, listening to her move around. Drawers opening, closet doors sliding. She was packing. Good. Let her go. But she didn't leave. Not that night, not the next day. Instead, she stayed. Slept in the guest room. Avoided me like I was contagious. And I let her. Because I was planning. 3 days passed like molasses. Emma and I circled each other in our 1,200-square-foot apartment like boxers waiting for the bell to ring. She left early for work, came home late. We communicated through post-it notes stuck to the refrigerator. "Toilet paper is running low. Your mother called. Don't touch my leftovers. Domestic. Professional. Completely hollow. I used the time wisely, called in favors, did research. Turns out, when you're an architect, you know people, contractors, engineers, tech guys who owe you because you helped them pass their licensing exams. One of those tech guys, Brandon, met me for coffee on Thursday. "You look like trash," he said, sitting down in the booth across from me. "So, I've been told. What do you need?" I pulled out the burner phone. I'd taken it from Emma's purse the night of our fight. She hadn't noticed yet, or if she had, she hadn't said anything. "I need to see everything on this. Messages, call logs, photos, all of it." Brandon whistled low. "This is some spy movie nonsense, David. Can you do it or not?" He picked up the phone, turned it over in his hands. "Yeah, I can do it. Give me 2 hours." It took 90 minutes. I sat in my car in the parking lot of a strip mall, scrolling through the data Brandon had extracted. He'd put everything on a thumb drive, organized by date. The messages went back 8 months. 8 months. While I was working overtime to save for the vacation she'd wanted. While I was planning our 5th anniversary dinner. While I was trying to figure out why she looked at me like I was furniture. The lover's name was Tyler Brennan. I recognized it immediately. Her co-worker. The guy she'd mentioned a dozen times. Tyler from marketing. Tyler who closed that big account. Tyler who's so funny. Tyler who was married with 2 kids. The photos made me nauseous. Not explicit, thankfully. Emma was smarter than that, but close enough, intimate enough. Hotel rooms, restaurant tables, his hand on her waist. One message stood out. From 3 weeks ago. Tyler. "When are you going to leave him?" Emma. "Soon. I just need to figure out the logistics." Tyler. "You've been saying that for months." Emma. "I know. But David's not stupid. If I leave too suddenly, he'll fight me on everything." Tyler. "So string him along?" Emma. "It's not stringing him along. It's being strategic. Strategic." I read that word 5 times. Memorized it. Let it burn into my brain. Then I kept digging. Tyler Brennan lived in Maple Grove, about 30 minutes from our apartment. Nice neighborhood. Good schools. His wife's name was Rachel. She worked as a dentist. Their kids were 7 and 9. I found their Christmas card from last year on Rachel's social media. The whole family in matching sweaters, smiling like they'd never known unhappiness. Tyler was destroying that, and Emma was helping him. I drove home. Emma's car was already in the garage. I found her in the kitchen, reheating leftover Chinese food. "We need to talk," I said. She didn't look up. "About what?" "Tyler Brennan." The container in her hand slipped, just slightly. She caught it before it fell. "What about him?" "Drop the act, Emma. I know everything." She turned slowly. Her face was carefully blank. "You know what exactly?" "I know you've been seeing him for 8 months. I know you're planning to leave me. I know you've been being strategic about it." Her eyes narrowed. "You went through my phone." "Your burner phone, the one you've been using to coordinate hotel visits. That's an invasion of privacy." I laughed. Actually laughed. "You're unbelievable. You cheat on me for 8 months and your concern is privacy? Keep your voice down. The neighbors, I don't care about the neighbors." The words came out louder than intended. I took a breath, steadied myself. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sit down, and you're going to explain to me why." "Why what?" "Why you stayed. If you wanted to leave so badly, why not just go? Why keep up this charade?" She set down the container, crossed her arms. That defensive posture I'd seen 1,000 times. "Because you're useful," she said quietly. "Excuse me?" "You're stable, David, reliable. You pay half the bills. You don't ask questions. You're useful." "So I'm what? A placeholder?" "You're a safety net. Tyler's not ready to leave Rachel yet, so until he is, I need a backup plan." She didn't deny it. I felt something shift inside me. Something fundamental. Like a wire snapping after years of tension. "Get out," I said. "What?" "You heard me. Get out of this apartment." "This is my apartment too, David. My name is on the lease." "Then I'll buy you out." She laughed. "With what money? You're barely making ends meet as it is." "We'll see about that." I walked to my office, the second bedroom we'd converted when we moved in, pulled out my laptop, started drafting. Emma followed me. "What are you doing?" "Writing a rental agreement." "A what?" I kept typing, pulling up the legal template I'd found online months ago for a client. "Since you said this is your apartment too, I'm charging you rent. Fair market value for half the space. $3,200 per month. First and last month plus security deposit due within 30 days. Her mouth fell open. "You can't be serious." "Completely serious. You want to stay? Fine. Pay rent, like any other tenant." "That's insane." "Is it? You said I'm useful? Well, here's me being useful, providing housing, for a fee." "David, this is our home." "No," I interrupted, looking up from the screen. "This was our home. Past tense. Now it's a residence occupied by two people who can't stand each other. And one of those people is going to start paying their share." She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. "You've lost your mind." "Maybe, or maybe I've finally found it." She left the room. I heard her bedroom door slam. I finished the rental agreement, printed 2 copies, signed and dated both, left one on the kitchen counter. Then I made a phone call. "Mitchell Burns, attorney at law." "Mitch, it's David Kellerman." "David, long time. How've you been?" "Not great, actually. I need legal advice." We talked for 47 minutes. Mitch walked me through my options. Most of them were messy, expensive, time-consuming. But one stood out. "If you can prove she's been unfaithful, and if she's been using marital resources to conduct the affair, you might have grounds for something creative," Mitch said. "But you'd need evidence, real evidence, not just text messages." "What kind of evidence?" "Financial records. Proof she's been spending your money on hotels, dinners, gifts for this guy. Proof that damages you materially." "And if I get that?" "Then we file for separation with cause. Could mean she gets less in the settlement. Maybe nothing at all, depending on the judge." I thanked him and hung up. Then I got to work. Emma had been sloppy with our shared credit card. I pulled up the statements going back a year, highlighted every charge I didn't recognize, cross-referenced them with her calendar, her work schedule. Patterns emerged. Hotel rooms booked on days she'd claimed to be working late. Restaurant bills that exceeded what she'd normally spend alone. Flowers purchased from a shop near Tyler's office. Every transaction was a thread. I pulled them all, watching the tapestry unravel. By midnight, I had a file 2 inches thick. Emma's bedroom door stayed closed. I slept in my office, on the couch we'd bought for guests who never came. The next morning, I woke up to find the rental agreement torn in half on the kitchen counter. Underneath it, a note in Emma's handwriting. "You're pathetic." I smiled, picked up my phone, dialed the number I'd pulled from the burner. It rang 3 times before a man's voice answered. "Hello? Is this Tyler Brennan?" Pause. "Who's asking?" "David Kellerman, Emma's husband." The line went silent, not disconnected, just silent. I could hear him breathing. "I don't know what you think you know," he started. "I know everything, Tyler. Every hotel, every dinner, every lie you told your wife to sneak around with mine." "Listen, man." "No, you listen. I'm going to make this very simple. You have 2 choices. You can end this thing with Emma right now, today, and never contact her again. Or I can send everything I have to Rachel, your wife, the dentist, the mother of your children." "You wouldn't. Try me." Another pause, longer this time. "What do you want?" "I want you gone, out of Emma's life, out of my life, permanently." "And if I do that?" Then this conversation never happened. He exhaled slowly. Fine, done. I need to hear you say it. I'll end it with Emma. Today. And I won't contact her again. Good choice. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Emma's real phone started ringing. She answered it in her room. I heard her voice rise, then fall, then rise again. 20 minutes after that, she came out. Her eyes were red. What did you do? She asked. I solved a problem. Tyler won't answer my calls. I know. You called him. You threatened him. I gave him a choice. He made it. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. The weekend passed in a fog of silent warfare. Emma stayed in her room. I stayed in mine. We crossed paths exactly twice. Once in the kitchen Saturday morning, once in the hallway Sunday evening. Both times, we said nothing. Monday morning, I woke up early and went to the bank. Our checking account held about $32,000. My savings, mostly. Money I'd been setting aside for the down payment on a house Emma had insisted we buy. I transferred $25,000 to a new account, in my name only. Then I went to work. Janet noticed immediately. You look different, she said, bringing me coffee. Different how? I don't know, lighter maybe, less beaten down. Thanks, I think. What happened? I told her. Not everything, but enough. The affair, the burner phone, the rental agreement Emma had torn up. Janet's eyes went wide. You're actually charging her rent? Trying to. She's not cooperating. What's your next move? I pulled up a document on my computer. The lease agreement for our apartment. Emma and I had signed it 2 years ago when we moved in. I've been reading this very carefully, I said. Turns out there's a clause about subletting. Subletting? Either tenant can sublet their portion of the residence with written notice to the landlord and the other tenant. Janet leaned closer. You're not serious. Completely serious. If Emma won't pay rent, I'll sublet my half to someone who will. That's devious. That's strategic. The word tasted sweet. I spent the rest of Monday drafting a subletting proposal. Clean, professional, completely legal. Found a graduate student through a university housing board who needed a place close to campus. Nice kid, quiet, studying engineering. His name was Marcus. Wait, no. I'd been told not to use that name. His name was Jeremy Phillips, 24 years old, non-smoker, no pets, perfect tenant. I scheduled him to see the place Wednesday evening. Emma came home Tuesday night while I was cooking dinner. Pasta, nothing fancy, just something to occupy my hands. We need to talk, she said. Go ahead. Our bank account is almost empty. I kept stirring. Yep. Where's the money, David? In a safe place. You can't just take our money. I turned to face her. Actually, I can. It's my money. I deposited it. I earned it. You just spent it. Her face flushed. That's not how marriage works. Really? Because from where I'm standing, marriage means partnership, trust, loyalty, and you violated all three. So this is punishment? No. This is protection. You've been planning to leave me for months, Emma. You said it yourself. You're being strategic. Well, so am I. I could take you to court. You could try, but Mitch says I'd win. Adultery and misappropriation of marital funds. That's what he called it. Sounds bad, doesn't it? She went pale. You talked to a lawyer? I did. When? Does it matter? She stood there, shaking slightly. With rage or fear, I couldn't tell. Didn't care. I want a divorce, she said quietly. Okay. Okay? Yeah, okay. File the papers. I'll sign them. Just like that? Just like that. She blinked rapidly, confused. This wasn't how she'd expected this to go. What's the catch? No catch. You want out? Get out. But everything gets divided fairly, and fairly means I keep what's mine. What about the apartment? What about it? Who gets to stay? I smiled. I'm staying. You can leave whenever you want. My name is on the lease too. Then pay your half of the rent. We were back to that. She stormed out. I heard her on the phone in her room, voice raised, probably calling Tyler. Good luck with that. Wednesday evening came quickly. Jeremy arrived at 6:30 sharp. Polite kid, firm handshake. He looked around the apartment with the kind of appreciation you only see in people who've been living in dorms. This is amazing, he said. Way better than the photos. Glad you like it. Emma chose that exact moment to come out of her room. Who's this? She asked. Emma, this is Jeremy. Jeremy, this is Emma, my soon-to-be ex-wife. Jeremy's eyebrows shot up. Emma's face went bright red. What is he doing here? She demanded. Viewing his potential new room. I'm subletting. Your what? Subletting my half of the apartment. It's in the lease agreement. Section 14, paragraph 3. You can't just... I can, and I am. Jeremy here needs a place close to campus. I need someone to cover my half of the rent while I stay with a friend. Total lie. I wasn't staying with anyone. But she didn't need to know that. This is insane, Emma practically shouted. Jeremy looked uncomfortable. Should I come back later? No, I said. Stay. Let me show you the bathroom. I gave him the full tour while Emma stood in the living room, fuming. Showed him the second bedroom that would be his, the shared bathroom, the kitchen. Rent would be $1,600 a month, I said. Utilities included. Move-in date is flexible. I'll take it, Jeremy said immediately. Excellent. I'll draw up the paperwork. We shook hands. He left. Emma waited exactly 5 seconds before exploding. You're actually doing this? You're actually bringing a stranger into our home? Our home? I laughed. You checked out of this home 8 months ago, Emma. Now I'm just making it official. I'll call the landlord. I'll tell him you're violating the lease. Go ahead. The lease specifically allows subletting with proper notice. I sent the notice this morning. Landlord approved it 2 hours ago. I showed her the email on my phone. She read it, then read it again. You planned this? Yes. You're trying to force me out? No. I'm giving you a choice. Pay rent and stay or leave. Either way, I'm done being your safety net. She grabbed her purse and left. Didn't come back until after midnight. I lay in my office on the couch, listening to her stumble through the apartment. She was tipsy, maybe more than tipsy. Good. Let her drown in whatever comfort she could find. Thursday morning, I woke up to an email from my landlord. David, I received a call from Emma yesterday demanding I revoke your subletting approval. I told her what I'm telling you. Both tenants have equal rights under the lease. If she has concerns, she can address them in writing. However, I should mention that the lease is up for renewal in 60 days. I'll be sending both of you the renewal paperwork next week. If you both don't sign, the tenancy terminates. Best Tom 60 days. I stared at that number. 2 months to either force Emma out or burn this whole thing to the ground. A plan started forming. I called Mitch again. How hard would it be to transfer a lease into a business entity? A business entity? What kind? An LLC, something I control. Depends on the landlord. Why? Because if I own the lease through a company, I can evict Emma as a tenant. Mitch whistled. That's cold, David. Is it legal? Technically, maybe. But you'd need the landlord to agree to transfer the lease, and Emma would have to be removed from the original agreement. What if she violates the lease? What kind of violation? Unauthorized occupants, extended guests, failure to pay her share of utilities. You'd need documentation, proof, multiple incidents. I can get that. I could hear Mitch grinning through the phone. You're turning into a real strategist, aren't you? I learned from the best. I spent the next week documenting everything. Every time Emma had someone over without notice, every utility bill she'd ignored, every rent check she'd refused to contribute to. Built a file thicker than the last one, and then I waited. Tyler Brennan drove a Tesla. Midnight blue, custom rims. The kind of car a mid-level marketing guy buys when he wants people to think He's more successful than he actually is. I knew this because I'd been watching him. Not every day. That would be obsessive. Just periodically. Learning his patterns, his routines, where he went, who he met. He'd broken his promise. Hadn't ended things with Emma after all. I'd seen them together twice in the past week. Once at a coffee shop near her office, once at a wine bar downtown. So much for his word. It was Saturday. Emma had told me she was spending the day with friends. Sure, friends. I followed her to a boutique hotel in the Arts District, watched her park, watched Tyler's Tesla pull up 10 minutes later. They went inside together. I waited. An hour passed, then 2. Around 3 p.m., Tyler came out alone, checked his phone, got into his car. I followed him. He drove to an upscale gym, one of those places with juice bars and eucalyptus towels, parked in the underground garage. Perfect. I'd come prepared. In my trunk, a bottle of fish sauce I'd bought from an Asian market, a funnel, a small screwdriver, latex gloves. I parked 3 spaces away from the Tesla and waited for the garage to empty. Saturday afternoons were slow. Most people were upstairs working out or pretending to. 5 minutes of silence. I pulled on the gloves, popped my trunk, walked casually to Tyler's car. The air intake for the AC system is in the cowl, right below the windshield. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that if you pour liquid into that intake, it seeps into the entire ventilation system. I unscrewed the cowl cover, slowly, carefully, inserted the funnel, poured. The fish sauce went in smooth, about 12 ounces, enough to saturate the filters and drip into the evaporator core. I replaced the cover, pocketed my tools, walked back to my car, drove to a spot with a clear view of the garage exit, waited. 45 minutes later, Tyler emerged, looking refreshed, gym bag over his shoulder. He got into his car, started the engine. I watched through binoculars as his face changed, confusion, then disgust. He turned off the engine, turned it back on, adjusted the AC controls. The smell would be getting worse, filling the cabin, that rancid, rotting fish smell that gets into everything. Upholstery, carpet, headliner. He got out of the car, stood there, looking around like someone might explain what was happening. Then he pulled out his phone, made a call. Got back in the car, pulled out of the garage, windows down, gagging. I smiled, started my own engine, drove home. Emma was already back, sitting on the couch, looking at her phone. "Good day with friends?" I asked. She didn't look up. "Fine. Where'd you go?" "Shopping. Lunch. The usual." She glanced at me. "Why?" "Just curious." I went to my office, closed the door, checked my phone. Brandon had installed tracking software on Emma's real phone a week ago. Same kind used by parents to monitor their kids, completely undetectable. I pulled up her location history, boutique hotel, 2 hours and 47 minutes. I took a screenshot, added it to the file. Sunday morning, Emma seemed nervous, kept checking her phone, pacing. "Something wrong?" I asked. "No. Why? You seem anxious." "I'm fine." Her phone rang. She answered immediately. "Hello?" I couldn't hear the other end, but I watched her face go pale. "When? How bad? Okay, I understand." She hung up. "Who was that?" I asked. "No one. Just a friend." "Everything okay?" "Fine." She went to her room. I waited an hour. Then I texted Brandon. "How's the tracking working?" "Perfect. Got her going to the same hotel twice last week. Want me to pull Tyler's location too? Can you do that? If he has location services on, yeah, most people do." "Do it." 10 minutes later, Brandon sent me a map overlay. Emma's phone and Tyler's phone. Same locations, same times. Proof. I saved it all. Monday evening, I came home to find Emma in the kitchen. Actually cooking. That was unusual. "What's the occasion?" I asked. "Nothing. Just felt like making dinner." She'd made chicken, roasted vegetables. the kind of meal she used to make when we were dating. Smells good. Thanks. We ate in silence, awkward, tense. Finally, she spoke. I've been thinking. About? Us. This situation. I waited. Maybe we're being too hasty, she said. Maybe we should try counseling. I set down my fork. Counseling. Yes, before we do anything permanent. Emma, you've been planning to leave me for 8 months. You've been seeing Tyler for just as long. What exactly would counseling accomplish? It might help us figure out what went wrong. I know what went wrong. You stopped caring. That's not fair. Isn't it? You said I was useful, a safety net. Those were your words. She looked down. I was angry when I said that. But you meant it. David. No. I'm done with this. You want counseling? Fine. But I'm not interested in saving this marriage. I'm interested in ending it cleanly. So that's it? You've just given up? You gave up a long time ago. I'm just catching up. She stood up, left her plate on the table, went to her room. I finished eating alone, cleaned up, went to bed. Tuesday morning, I woke up to a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. This is Rachel Brennan. My heart rate spiked. I texted back. When and where? Coffee shop on Elm Street. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll be there. I spent the rest of the day wondering what she knew, what she wanted. Wednesday morning came slowly. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early, found a table in the back, ordered black coffee I didn't drink. Rachel Brennan walked in at exactly 10. I recognized her from her social media. Tall, athletic build, blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked tired, worn down. She spotted me immediately, walked over, sat down without asking. David? Rachel. She didn't order anything, just sat there, hands folded on the table. I know about Tyler and your wife, she said finally. How long have you known? About 3 weeks. I found receipts. Hotel rooms he couldn't explain. Charges on our credit card for places he claimed he'd never been. I'm sorry. She laughed. Bitter. Are you? Actually, yes. You and your kids don't deserve this. No, we don't. A pause. Why did you want to meet? I asked. Because I've been following Tyler, tracking him, and I know he's still seeing Emma. I know. You know? I've been tracking her too. Rachel's eyebrows went up. So we're both playing detective. Apparently. I want to ruin him, she said quietly. I want to ruin both of them. So do I. We looked at each other. Then maybe we should work together, she said. Rachel Brennan was meticulous, clinical even. She'd been gathering evidence for weeks, bank statements, credit card receipts, photos. She had everything organized in color-coded folders on her laptop. We met 3 more times over the next 2 weeks, always at the same coffee shop, always careful. Tyler's company is having a big conference next month, Rachel said during our 4th meeting. Regional managers from all over the country. He's supposed to give a presentation about their new marketing strategy. And Emma's going with him, as his assistant. I felt my jaw tighten. How do you know? I have access to his work email. He's not as careful as he thinks. She showed me the messages. Tyler coordinating travel arrangements, hotel reservations, all under the guise of bringing support staff. The company doesn't know they're involved, Rachel continued. If they did, it would be a massive problem. Fraternization policy, ethics violations. Tyler could lose his job. So we tell them. Not yet. If we move too soon, he'll spin it. Make himself the victim. We need something bigger. Like what? Rachel's smile was cold. Like proof that he's been using company resources to conduct the affair. Company credit cards for hotels. Company time for personal trips. That's grounds for termination. You have proof of that? I'm working on it, but I need help. What kind of help? Emma's work laptop. Does she bring it home? I thought about it. Sometimes. Why? Because if she's been coordinating with Tyler through work email, there's a trail, and if we can access it, we'd have everything. She nodded. I went home that night thinking about Emma's laptop. She kept it in her room usually, sometimes in her bag. Getting access wouldn't be easy, but it wasn't impossible. Thursday evening, Emma had a work dinner. She told me she'd be home late. Perfect. I waited until her car left the garage. Then I went to her room. Found her laptop on the desk, closed, password protected. I'd watched her type her password a dozen times. Muscle memory, her birthday backwards. I opened the laptop, logged in. Brandon had given me a tiny USB device the week before. Plug it in, wait 5 minutes, and it copies the entire hard drive to a cloud server. I inserted it, set a timer, waited. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. The USB blinked green. Done. I removed it, shut down the laptop, placed it exactly where I'd found it. Left her room, went to my office. Uploaded the data to Brandon. He called me an hour later. "You're not going to believe this," he said. "Try me." Emma's been using her work email to book hotels, same chain, multiple locations, and she's been copying Tyler on every booking confirmation. Company email? Company email. Company credit card in some cases. That's fraud. That's exactly what it is. I laughed, actually laughed. Can you compile all of it into a report? Something formal? Already on it. Give me 2 days. Brandon worked faster than promised. The next morning, he called again. Found something else, he said. Emma submitted expense reports for conferences she never attended, claimed reimbursement for travel that was actually hotel stays with Tyler. How much? Over $7,000 in the past 6 months. I whistled. Her company's going to love that. There's more. She's been forwarding client proposals to Tyler, confidential information. He's been using it to pitch competing accounts at his firm. Industrial espionage. Technically, yes. If her company finds out, she's not just fired. She could face legal action. Send me everything. The files arrived within the hour. I forwarded them to Rachel. She responded immediately. This changes everything. We can destroy both of them. I called her. What are you thinking? I asked. Tyler's presentation is the perfect opportunity, but we need to make sure Emma's company knows what she's done too. How? Anonymous tip to her HR department, the day before Tyler's conference. Let them start their investigation while she's out of town. They'll suspend her. Exactly. And when she comes back, she'll find out her job is gone. I thought about it. The timing would be perfect. Emma would be blindsided twice in 1 week. Do it, I said. Rachel drafted the email, attached all the evidence, expense reports, client information forwards, hotel bookings on company time. She sent it Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, Emma got a call. I was in my office when I heard her voice rise. What do you mean suspended? I haven't done anything wrong. Silence. That's ridiculous. Those expenses were legitimate. More silence. Fine. I'll come in tomorrow and explain everything. She hung up, came to my office door. My company is investigating me, she said. For what? Expense fraud. Someone sent them anonymous information. I kept my face neutral. That's serious. I didn't do anything wrong, David. Someone's setting me up. Who would do that? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. She left for her meeting Wednesday morning, came back 3 hours later, pale and shaking. They suspended me, she said. Pending investigation, 2 weeks minimum. What did you tell them? The truth, that the expenses were for work-related travel. Were they? She looked at me, really looked at me. You know something, she said. I know lots of things. Did you do this? Do what? Send information to my company. Why would I do that? Because you're angry. Because you want revenge. I stood up, walked past her. Emma, if I wanted revenge, you'd know it. She grabbed my arm. What does that mean? I pulled away. It means you should be careful, because the people you've hurt aren't as forgiving as you think. I left her standing there, went to meet Rachel for coffee. Emma's suspended, I told her. I know, Tyler told her. She's panicking. Good. The conference is Friday. I've confirmed my attendance. Tyler still doesn't know I'm coming. What about the evidence? Rachel pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here. Hotel receipts, emails, photos, bank statements showing Tyler used company funds for personal expenses. How are you going to present it? I'm going to wait until he's 10 minutes into his presentation. Then I'm going to stand up, walk to the front, and plug this into the projector. Just like that? Just like that. His boss will be in the room, the regional director, everyone who matters. He'll try to stop you. Let him try. 2 days later, I got the call. Rachel's voice was different, harder, satisfied. It's done, she said. Tell me everything. I walked in exactly when I planned. Tyler was mid-sentence, talking about customer engagement strategies. I walked straight to the front. He saw me and froze. What did you say? I said, "Excuse me, everyone. I have something Tyler forgot to mention in his presentation." Then I plugged in the flash drive. And photos filled the screen. Tyler and Emma at hotels, expense reports with highlighted fraudulent entries, emails showing him sharing confidential client information with Emma's company. How did he react? He tried to unplug the projector. His boss stopped him, told security to escort him out right there in front of 40 people. What about Emma? She was sitting in the second row. She screamed at me, called me insane. Security removed her too. I closed my eyes, imagined the scene. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. We're not done. She was right. Emma came home 2 hours later, slammed the door so hard the walls shook. David! I came out of my office. She was standing in the living room, mascara running down her face, hair a mess. You did this, she said. Did what? You and Rachel. You planned this. You ruined Tyler's career. Tyler ruined his own career. I just helped document it. You're a monster. No, I'm someone who got tired of being treated like garbage. She rushed at me, fists raised. I caught her wrists, gently, firmly. Don't, I said quietly. She yanked away, collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. I stood there watching her, felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, just emptiness. After a while, I went back to my office, closed the door, sat in the dark. My phone buzzed. A text from Mitch. Got some news. Tom agreed to transfer the lease to your LLC. Paperwork ready Monday. Emma has to be served a 30-day notice. I stared at the message. 30 days. 1 month until this was finally over. I texted back. Send the notice. You sure? Completely. Another text came through. From Brandon. Emma's company just posted a termination notice. She's officially fired, effective immediately. I forwarded it to Rachel. She responded with a single word. Perfect. The notice arrived on Tuesday, delivered by a courier, very official, very legal. Emma signed for it, opened it right there in the doorway. I watched from my office as her face went from confusion to shock to rage. What is this? She shouted. I came out. It's a 30-day notice. You're being asked to vacate the premises. You can't evict me. My name is on the lease. Not anymore. The lease was transferred to my LLC. You're now considered an unauthorized occupant. That's not legal. It is, actually. Mitch checked 3 times. She read the document again, hands shaking. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem. We're still married, David. Technically, but you filed for divorce 2 weeks ago, remember? She had. Her lawyer had sent the papers. I'd signed them immediately. No contest, no negotiations. This is cruel, she said quietly. No, cruel is what you did to me. This is just consequences. She crumpled the notice, threw it at me, missed, went to her room. I picked up the notice, smoothed it out, put it in my file. Over the next 2 weeks, Emma tried everything. She called the landlord. He referred her to Mitch. She called a lawyer. He told her the eviction was legal. She tried to convince me to change my mind. Showed up at my office, made scenes. I ignored all of it. But Emma wasn't done fighting. Wednesday morning, she ambushed me in the parking garage. "I talked to a real estate attorney," she said, blocking my car. "Good for you. He says I can challenge the lease transfer. Says you manipulated the landlord. Did he mention it would cost you about $15,000 in legal fees? Money you don't have since you got fired?" Her jaw clenched. "I'll find the money." "From who? Tyler? He's unemployed too. Your mother? She won't even return your calls after what I showed her." "You're enjoying this." "I'm really not, Emma. I'm just tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of your games." "My games? You're the one playing chess with people's lives." "I learned from the best." She tried a different approach. Softer, vulnerable. "David, please. We were good once, remember? When we first met, we were happy. That was before you decided I wasn't enough. I made mistakes, I know that. But we can fix this." "No, we can't." "Why not?" "Because I don't love you anymore." The words hung in the air between us, her eyes filled with tears. "You don't mean that." "I do. I loved who I thought you were. But that person never existed." I got in my car, drove away, left her standing there. Meanwhile, Rachel and I kept working. Tyler had been fired. That much was certain, but Rachel wanted more. "His professional reputation needs to be gone," she said. "Not just damaged, gone." "How?" "LinkedIn, social media, reviews of his freelance work. I want everyone in the industry to know what kind of person he is." "That's aggressive." "He deserves it." I couldn't argue. We spent hours drafting posts. Factual, documented, devastating. Rachel started with LinkedIn. She posted a detailed account of Tyler's misconduct. No names, but enough details that anyone who knew him would recognize the story. "I recently discovered that my spouse of 10 years engaged in a pattern of professional misconduct that included misuse of company resources, fraudulent expense reporting, and sharing confidential client information with a romantic partner employed by a competing firm." The post went viral within hours. Tyler's industry contacts started commenting, sharing. Some revealed their own experiences with him. One former colleague wrote, "I always wondered how Tyler closed deals so fast. Now I know he was stealing information." Another, "He tried to recruit me to his firm last year. Glad I dodged that situation." By Thursday, Tyler's professional network had collapsed. Rachel sent me screenshots throughout the day. His profile views dropped by 80%. Companies are removing their endorsements. Someone just posted that he interviewed at their firm last week. They rescinded the offer. He's deleting his accounts. Too late, though. Everything's been archived. I forwarded the updates to Emma. She didn't respond. That evening, I got a visitor. Emma's mother, Linda, showed up at my office. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" "About what you're doing to my daughter." I leaned back in my chair. "I'm not doing anything to her. I'm protecting myself." "You're destroying her." "She destroyed herself, Linda. I just documented it." "She made a mistake. People make mistakes." "For 8 months? That's not a mistake, that's a choice." Linda sat down. Uninvited. She looked older suddenly. Tired. "Emma called me crying," she said. "Said she has nowhere to go." "She has options. She just doesn't like them. She's my daughter, David. And she's my wife. Was my wife. But that didn't stop her from treating me like I was disposable. I'm asking you to show mercy." I showed mercy for 5 years. Ignored the disrespect, the dismissal, the way she made me feel small. Where was her mercy? Linda didn't answer. "If Emma needs a place to stay, she can stay with you," I said. "But she's not staying in my apartment." "Your apartment? It was your home together." "It stopped being our home the day she started planning her exit strategy." Linda stood up. I thought you were better than this. So did I. Turns out we're both wrong about a lot of things. She left. I sat there for a long time after she was gone, thinking about mercy, about whether I was being cruel or just protecting myself. The line felt blurry. Friday afternoon, Emma came home early. I heard her in the apartment, moving around, opening closets. I went to see what she was doing. She was packing. Suitcases open on the bed, clothes piled everywhere. Going somewhere? I asked. I'm leaving. That's what you want, right? Where are you going? My mother's, until I figure things out. Good. She stopped packing, turned to face me. Do you hate me, David? I thought about it. Really thought. No, I said finally. I don't hate you. I just don't care anymore. That's worse. Maybe. She zipped up a suitcase. I never meant to hurt you this badly. But you did it anyway. I was selfish. I wanted everything. My career, Tyler, the security you provided. I thought I could have it all. You can't. I know that now. She picked up the suitcase, carried it to the door. For what it's worth, she said, I am sorry. Okay. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say, Emma? That I forgive you? I don't. That I understand? I don't. You made your choices. Now you live with them. She stood there for a moment, then nodded. Goodbye, David. Goodbye. She left. The apartment felt different immediately, lighter, emptier. I walked through the rooms, noticed all the spaces where her things used to be. My phone rang. Rachel. Tyler's moving out this week, she said. Taking the kids. I'm keeping the house. Good. He tried to fight me on custody. His lawyer laughed him out of the office. Why? Because I have documentation of every time he chose to see Emma instead of coming home to his kids, every parent-teacher conference he missed, every soccer game. You're thorough. I learned from you. We talked for a few more minutes, made plans to meet for coffee the next week. After we hung up, I poured a drink, sat on the couch, looked around at the space that was finally, legally, only mine. Inside, I poured a drink, sat on the couch, looked around at the space that had been a prison. It felt lighter now, empty, but lighter. My phone buzzed again, a text from Brandon. Emma's trying to access her old work email. Company locked her out. She's panicking. I texted back, let her panic. Another text, from Mitch. Divorce papers finalized. Judge signed them this afternoon. You're officially separated. I stared at the message. Officially separated. It should have felt like victory. Instead, it just felt like the end of something that should have ended a long time ago. But I wasn't done yet, because there was still one more thing. One last moment. Something public. Something she'd never forget. I called Rachel. I have an idea, I said. I'm listening. Emma's birthday is in 2 weeks. She usually has a party, invites all her friends, co-workers, family. You think she'll still have it this year? I know she will. Her mother already sent out invitations, I saw them. And I want to be there. Why? Because I want to give her a present. Rachel was quiet for a moment. What kind of present? The truth. All of it. In front of everyone she knows. That's brutal, David. She earned it. Another pause. I'm in, Rachel said. Emma's birthday fell on a Saturday. The party was at her mother's house. Big backyard, catered food, string lights. I wasn't invited, but I showed up anyway. Walked right in through the front door like I belonged there. Emma saw me immediately. Her face went pale. What are you doing here? I'm your husband. Aren't I supposed to be here? Her mother, Linda, rushed over. David! What a lovely surprise! Emma grabbed my arm. He needs to leave. Don't be silly, Linda said. It's your birthday. You should be celebrating together. Emma's grip tightened. I smiled. Actually, I brought a gift. For everyone. I pulled out a small remote from my pocket. What is that? Emma asked. You'll see. I'd spent the morning setting up. Brandon had helped. A small projector, hidden in the bushes, aimed at the side of the house. I pressed the button. The screen lit up. Photos, videos, text messages, Emma and Tyler at hotels, restaurant receipts, work emails about booking rooms, audio of Emma laughing about me, calling me useful. The backyard went silent. Every person there, friends, family, co-workers, stared at the screen. Emma tried to run to the projector. I blocked her. You need to see this, I said quietly. All of it. The presentation lasted 4 minutes. 4 minutes of evidence, proof, undeniable truth. When it ended, I turned to the crowd. This isn't revenge, I said. This is closure, the kind she never gave me. I looked at Emma. Her face was red, tears streaming. Happy birthday, I said. Then I walked out. Behind me I heard shouting, crying, accusations. I got in my car, drove away, didn't look back. 3 days after the party, Emma texted me, "We need to talk, please." I ignored it. She texted again, "I'm sorry, I know I hurt you. Can we meet?" I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, "Fine, Thursday, 7 p.m. Grayson's restaurant." Thank you. Grayson's was upscale, expensive, the kind of place we used to go for anniversaries. I arrived at 6:45, asked for a private room. They gave me one near the back. Quiet, intimate, perfect. I'd spent the previous 2 days making calls, sending invitations. Emma had no idea. She showed up at 7:02, wearing a black dress, hair done, makeup covering the circles under her eyes. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "Sit." She did. "David, I've been thinking a lot about what I did, how I treated you, and I want you to know." The door opened. Her mother walked in, then her boss, then Patricia Henderson, then Rachel Brennan. Emma's eyes went wide. "What is this?" "Closure," I said. More people filed in. Her co-workers, friends, people from the party. They filled the room, standing along the walls, silent. Emma stood up. "David, what are you doing?" I pulled out a tablet, set it on the table. "I'm giving everyone the full story. No edits, no spin, just facts." I pressed play. The screen showed a timeline. 8 months of affair, documented. Every hotel, every lie, every expense report. Then it showed the financial damage, money she'd spent, resources she'd wasted. Then it showed her messages, the ones calling me a safety net, a placeholder. The room stayed silent. Emma tried to speak. "This is true," I interrupted. "Every word, every image, all of it." I looked at her mother. "Linda, you asked me once why we didn't have kids. Emma told you it was my choice. It wasn't. She refused, said children would ruin her career." Linda's face crumpled. I looked at Emma's boss. "She told you she was working late all those nights. She wasn't. She was at hotels, using company cards." The boss's jaw tightened. I looked at the friends. "She told you I was controlling, suffocating, that she needed space. What she needed was permission to cheat." Emma was crying now, openly. "David, please." "I'm not done." I played the final video, audio from her burner phone, her voice, clear as day. "David's pathetic. He has no idea. And honestly, I don't even feel bad anymore. He's just there." The room erupted. People shouted, questioned. Some left immediately. Rachel just smiled. I stood up. "This isn't revenge," I said to Emma. "This is accountability. You destroyed our marriage. You destroyed Tyler's career. You hurt everyone in this room who cared about you. And you felt nothing." I grabbed my jacket. "So now you get to feel what I felt. Exposed. Alone. Humiliated." I walked to the door, turned back one last time. "Goodbye, Emma." I left. The restaurant noise faded behind me. I got in my car, drove home, to the apartment.